Hi, everybody. This is Carol Sherwood. I had a segment this morning with Bill Keeler on Keeler in the Morning out of New York and his radio show. So I'm going to go over a piece of information because on this segment I did with Bill, we didn't have time to go into detail why I claim that the dot record for Teresa Halbach has been altered, has been fraudulently put together. And I'm going to show you exactly why. And so forgive me for looking down because I'm shuffling through a couple of pieces of paper so I can show you this. Okay, I want you to see this right here. This is the document that was presented in court. It's Trial Exhibit 4, and it's the dot record. It is a cover letter, okay? And then there's a document behind it that's a 2-page document that is what they call the vehicle abstract, which all a vehicle abstract is the record of your registering the vehicle and then also your re-registering the license tags annually. Okay, any of that kind of activity that applies at a DMV for registration of a vehicle. So that's the document that was presented in court and that's on file. It is what I claim is fraud. Okay, this is also a vehicle abstract from the state of Wisconsin, DMV, for Teresa Halbach that was obtained by a researcher in 2016. Okay, so let me tell you something. When you call and you get a vehicle abstract from the DMV, whether it's in your state, my state, Wisconsin, you can get a certified copy or you can get a non-certified copy. Certified means you're going to get a cover letter that goes with it with a signature on it from an official from the DMV that says, I certify the information on here is true and correct. Not that it shouldn't be true and correct without it, because if you get that copy of that document uncertified, it's still the same report. It's still the same report. You just get the extra cover letter if it's certified. Here's the problem with Teresa Halbach is when I did research on this and I looked at this and thought, all I'm looking for is information related to the VIN and the plates. It's right here, okay? The history of the VIN and the plates is right here. There you go, Trial Exhibit 4. This is what you would get if you got an uncertified report from the DMV. It's not going to be any different except for having gotten that little cover letter. Now I want you to look at this one that was obtained through FOIA, just like this other one was, from the state of Wisconsin. This is the same report that you just saw, and this is what they got. And can you tell me how you can identify where this came from? Sure you can. Look right here. Wisconsin Department of Transportation. There's the logo. There's the address. There's a form number down here. It's all right here. There is information on here that tells you where this came from. This, my friends, has nothing. So what I want you to know is, why doesn't this report look like this report? Why doesn't it? I'm not talking about the information on it partially. I'm talking about the formatting. I'm talking about the form, the identification of where it comes from. It's nowhere on this document. But when you get a certified DMV abstract, it comes with that right there. That and that come together. I've got one. And if my co-researcher, she has one she requested. and it's exactly the same. The system that spits out this information has been using this very same format for over 35 years. I verified it. You don't have to believe me. I don't care. I don't care if you believe me or not. But what you've got to look at is you've got a high-profile court case. A guy that was imprisoned wrongly for 18 years in a rape case he didn't commit. He's got a $36 million lawsuit just about to come to close, and it's looking really, really good that he's going to win. What he gets rewarded, who knows? But he's going to win the case. Suddenly, this gal goes missing, and then he is arrested for it because they find her car on his property. All right? And you say, Carol, that doesn't prove anything. It doesn't prove anything by itself, but it proves a lot. And here's a couple of things I want you to take a look at on here. First of all, if this is Teresa Halbach's vehicle history record, all right? Her entire vehicle history record for Teresa Halbach. There's 2 entries on this. This first entry shows registration of her 1999 RAV4. All right? Okay, we're good with that. We all, at least as many people as I know, agree that her car is the 99 RAV ending in VIN 3044. Then this is her personal information, name and address and all that jazz. And then you get all the way down here, and then you have the entry that is the renewal right here of the license plates. And it's done in September of 2005 for the following year. Wisconsin's statutes are that a car registration is annual. It may be different if it's a brand new car, and most recently, but in 2005, their legal statutes was it was registered annually for her classification of vehicle. So you show me, go look up Trial Exhibit 4. I just printed it out. Where are her renewals of the license plate after she registered that car? She didn't get to buy it for 2.5 years registered. This right here says renewed. There's no initial entry of those license plates ever being registered to her. How do you renew a license plate that's never been issued in the first place? That needs to be answered. But I go back to you explain to me right off the bat, why doesn't that report look like that one? 35 years. The one I got looks like it. The one my co-researcher got looks like it. That's not that form. You may think that's nothing. But there's a little something on this form right here. There's a little something on here that makes a difference why they might not want this form seen. Because this is an automatic printout from that system. And this is one that's been created by someone to show what they want to show. And you may not agree with me, and I don't care if you do or not, but that's a problem. And then I'm going to tell you what backs up part of this too. I called, and my co-researcher called the DMV separately and on multiple occasions to get information on those reports. And we were told a couple of things. One of them was very important. One of them, the woman specifically said to me, Teresa's record, her DMV record, was purged right after 10/31 of 05. Now, Teresa went missing on 10/31 of 05. Why would her vehicle record get purged in any size, shape, or form, changed anything until this was over, until after the trial? I'm trying to think of any reason whatsoever and asking, why would her vehicle record be altered? There's no reason unless there is something that has to do with something related to that vehicle. The vehicle, i.e. the VIN, or the plates. And guess what? Because those are the only two pieces of information on that record that have any kind of validity to Teresa Halbach. In this case is a VIN and the license plates. So you don't have to agree with me. Once again, you don't have to. But you got to look at this stuff and go, something is off. Because why would there be that format that in no way indicates at all that this came from any government office at all? There's nothing identifying this at all, that it came from the Department of Transportation. The address on it is her address that she moved to later in 2004. All right. But when she registered that car, she was in Green Bay. All right. So that's another thing. I go back to right there. How do you renew a license plate that's never been issued? How do you renew it? When you go back to this report, all right, when you go back to this report right here, the legitimate report that came off the DMV system, there's a sentence right here. The plate will be reissued on the next registration cycle. All right. Says it right there. Now, I want to tell you something. I didn't decide what that means. I did my research. A renewal is just the re-registration of the plate. Reissued is a plate that has to get replaced with new plates. That's referring to SWH 582, the plates that supposedly belong to Teresa Halbach. Now, when this is generated, and this is referring to when she renewed those plates in September of 05 for 1 year, that statement pops up. That statement pops up because it recognized the age of SWH 582. In Wisconsin, plates must be reissued at 10 years. They'll let you carry them over to your vehicle. There's other details surrounding that. We can go over it later. Those plates have to be reissued if they've been owned 10 years. So that letter and that statement is saying at the next registration cycle, the 2006, when she goes again, those plates will be either 10 years or have, in that time frame, have gone over 10 years. Here it is, simple and to the point. Do the math, people. Do the math. Teresa is 25 years old when she goes missing and when she renews these plates, supposedly. So if a year down the road, those plates have to be reissued, that means they've hit the 10-year mark. So you do the math and deduct a 10-year plate off of her age, and she was 15 or 16 when she got those plates. And guess what? She's not legal age to have license plates. She's not legal age to have a vehicle in her name. But we're talking about when she was 15 to 16. She could not have gotten those plates. And the Wisconsin statute does not allow plates to transfer between family members or cousins or friends or anything except me to me. If I want to put it on my next vehicle, I can if I live in Wisconsin, all right, as long as it's the same class of vehicle, or between husband and wife. That's who they let transfer license plates. And that's been in effect since before 2005. So, Teresa was never married, so that knocks out husband-wife transfer the plates between each other. And Teresa would have been 15 at the time that those plates were issued, and she wasn't old enough to have a driver's license or plates issued to her at that age. She could not have had plates issued. Her driver's license, which is in with her Auto Trader application packet, shows that her driver's license was when she was 19 years old. All right? So, she couldn't have got those plates when she was 15. So, when she went and bought that car from Lemieux in Green Bay in 2003, and they have to put on your purchase agreement, that's in the statutes too, and in the DMV regulations too, they have to put on there, are you bringing over a set of plates, or are we issuing you a new set of plates because they're going to send the information to the DMV to register that vehicle. But what you will conveniently find is that there are no vehicle purchase agreements that have been placed in this case. They didn't ask for them. Well, let's put it this way. If they had them, they didn't present them. Because you know why? That vehicle agreement has license plate data on it. Do I doubt that Teresa owned a 99 RAV4 ending in VIN 3044? Nope. I absolutely believe she did. I think it's hers, and I think the insurance card is what helps back that up. Because believe me, if I think that the dot record has been falsified, then I'd have a hard time saying that's the only proof. But the insurance card, her application Auto Trader, yes, the girl owned the car with a VIN ending 3044. My claim is that the car they found on Avery Salvage is not her car, and those plates were not her plates. You don't have to believe me. I've said it over and over. But someone needs to answer those questions, because if that was her car and if those were her plates, it should be a non-issue to be able to provide any piece of information going that you have, that I have, in our possession of our car history records, of our driver's vehicle registration records. There's no copies of Teresa's registrations that shows she renewed her license plates. Where are those? Maybe they thought they weren't needed because they had the dot record. Well, they wouldn't if the dot record's falsified. But guess what? Auto check. The auto check, which is one of the vehicle history sites that a lot of car dealers and them use, it shows 2 vehicle registration events, license renewals in '04 and in '03. They're not on here. Where are those license renewals on here? They're not there. When I talked to the DMV in Wisconsin, the woman was surprised that her record was purged right after 10/31/05. Needless to say, I wasn't sure exactly like what purged was to the great extent. I'm like, do you mean like deleted? Do you mean wiped out? She said, history is gone. The only thing that existed on their system that she confirmed to me when I called was that entry and that entry. There's no other entries. Why are her other 2 license registrations not showing up on there? They're on auto check. Auto check gets their information from DMV registrations, DMV records. So where are those? Where are those? There's one in August of '03, which is just a few months after she bought the car. And then the other one was in August of '04. And then you got one in September of '05. So where are those? So if you want to tell me that I'm coming up with something that is absolute nonsense or ridiculous or couldn't be possible, this should be a no-brainer, y'all. That's just a vehicle history record. There shouldn't be anything that's odd about that. It's just a vehicle history. So, for you naysayers, keep on your naysaying, because I don't care. I don't care. I know what we found. And that's only a very, very tip of the iceberg. But it's a big one. Because if that dot record and if that system at the DMV has been altered by someone, 1, who did it, 2, who authorized someone to do it, and 3, that's a federal offense. And in this case, it could prove to be something that is huge. So, believe it or not, it's right there in front of your eyes. I didn't have to create anything. So, thanks for listening.